Hello, good evening. Welcome to today's Sunday interview. Your presenter, Franklin Temba Jr. Now, the fate of the final resting place of former 6th Republican President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, was halted after the Attorney General, Mulilo Kavesha, launched a public interest litigation opposing the burial of the former president in South Africa. The action was brought before the Pretoria High Court under Article 177, 5C of the Constitution of Zambia in the interest of the Zambian people. Will this be the last straw in the impasse between the Lungu family and government? What should be the direction going forward? To weigh in on this matter and to give their insights on it, I'm joined on the program by Kaweche Kaunda, late President Dr. Kenneth Kaunda's son. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Franklin.
And next to him is Ambassador George Zulu, former diplomat, and Paramount Chief Mpezeni's Induna. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Franklin. How are you?
Very well, thank you for joining us. And this is live. You will have a chance to call in on 25 30 25 or indeed send a message via our Facebook page. In welcoming you both, let's agree that this is such an important matter that has to be stated, and I'll start with the fact that this, especially with your appearance, if I can start with you, I can imagine what the viewers are going through, because this is something similar which you could have gone through. But before I come to that, sir, what is your current thoughts around the state of affairs, if I can start with you?
Well, Franklin, my current thoughts are not easy, because this is new to Zambia. We are going through a very difficult period. Government and the family.
Right. I will need to pause with it, because I think we need to just better your audio. So I'll come back to you very shortly. But let's go to let me come to you, because everybody remembers that you opposed the burial of Dr. Kaunda at Embassy Park. It eventually did happen. You had made an effort to have the court to review the decision which cabinet had made to bury Dr. Kaunda at the park. It went on anyway. Your case was only looked at after the burial had taken place. So the decision went against what you indicated as being your father's wishes, as it were. What are your thoughts now? Because there's some similarities here. What is your thought now?
What has happened now is that because of that ruling, which, by the way, didn't specify that I'd actually lost, but it ruled in the interest of the country. Mm-hmm. If we're going to go by the book and by the law, I did not lose that case, but I didn't appeal, because I took it that the nation's interest was higher than either my father's interest himself, as his wish was when he was alive, or some members of the family. So we let it go. We could have appealed, but we let it go. And that's why I'm saying that as much as it was our right as a family to say we want our father's body to be taken here or put there to rest as his wish was, we overlooked that in the interest of the nation. People wanted him buried at that site, and I know had he been alive and we talked to him about it, he himself eventually would have said, all right, let's do it that way. If that's what the people want, then we do it like that. That was the reasoning behind the decision not to appeal what transpired in the courts that time.
Right. Zambians will remember that you didn't attend that. that burial?
No, I
the
didn't.
procession?
I didn't. That's what I'm saying, you see.
Right.
Only 6 of us in this population of Zambia of 20 million or so. Only 6 families have been through this. So I can understand the hurt that the Lungu family are going through. We went through it. But you must compromise with government, which is what we did. We didn't just get bullied, and government didn't take that approach. Neither did we just be stubborn and say we're unmovable, but we made our opinions felt and our feelings felt. And at that time, the anger that some of us had in putting the old man at a place where he, by the way, didn't want to go there. And I spent a lot of the last few years with him, and each time would pass the embassy park, he would say a prayer and then say, we can get up. All the time. We can get up. I remember one time we found a front-end loader doing some work on that site. That's after Mpanawas had been buried there. I think Chulu had been buried there. And a front-end loader was doing some work there. And Dad was very upset. He says, who do they think is going next that they're preparing the ground like that? So we said, Dad, I think it's for you. He says, well, why are they doing that? I said, okay, we'll find out what is going on. What we did, they were preparing some parking for the buildings that they were doing there. So later on, I said, no, Dad, it wasn't for you. He says, well, I hope not, because that's evil. I said, no, Dad, if anything happens which requires your knowledge, they will tell you. And unfortunately, he passed away before anybody could really talk to him about it. And that's, for me, I was trying to simply do what he had wanted, which is not to be put there. But, you know, a tradition has been put in place, and we accepted, and here we are today. And that is why I'm hoping, for the sake of the country, that the former first family of the Lungus will see beyond the politics, that the people of Zambia would like their president back here.
Right. Just before I go to Ambassador Zulu, many will argue and say you had no choice because, you know, through the cabinet, Secretary Cabinet had, as you were going or hoping for that review to happen, the decision went against your wishes. It's almost like you had no choice, and therefore you couldn't do anything about it. More rather than we just let it go.
We did have a choice. We did, but behind the scenes, we did have a choice. We discussed it amongst ourselves behind the scenes. We compromised with government behind the scenes. What used to come out in the newspaper and social media is not everything that was happening. There are a lot of things that happened behind the scenes that allowed us to do what we wanted to do. That is why I'm saying that my friends in South Africa, if they can compromise with government, tell the government what you want. The government will tell you what they can and cannot do. You as a family can tell them what you can and cannot accept. Eventually, we'll come together and put something together. Let's not break the Zambian people's hearts. Right now, hearts are breaking, mine included.
Right. You understand how an interesting figure you are in this particular instance. But let me turn to Ambassador, because there's so many things that are being cast, so many suggestions that are being made. And as a traditional advisor or an Induna, what do you make of some of the suggestions that seem to indicate that there is some spiritual matters behind government trying to, quote-unquote, according to how it's being said, to force itself on Mr. Lungu's body? As a traditionalist, does that hold any water?
Yes, Franklin. It is times like this times like this when society begins to look back and see how far we have come to be divided. We are now realizing how far we are apart from each other. As a traditionalist, I feel I have never seen something like this before. I cannot point out to say it happened here, it did not happen there. I know that families are hurting from both sides. Families are hurting. This is a very, very difficult time for both of them. As my brother said, I was part of the Kaunda family that was negotiating with government over the burial of the old man, KK. The current secretary to cabinet, Pati Kangwa, was deputy secretary to cabinet to Dr. Miti. He came, we discussed. The initial reaction was that the old man had put up his wish to be buried next to his wife, Betty. ZNS came to look around how they are going to dig the grave for the old man. 2 days later, things changed. We were told that Kenneth Kaunda was not your father alone. Kenneth Kaunda was the father of the nation. He was a father to all of us. I have directives that he will be buried at Embassy Park. The family rose, divided. Then they decided to be calling Panji alone. Panji decided to go with me to Cabinet Office to discuss the burial of Kenneth Kaunda.
I'm sorry, so eventually it did happen, as it were, where the burial took place. And I'm sorry, I have to interrupt that thought. Yes. And my interest at this point is there's so many suggestions that are being thrown around, including matters that have to do with spirituality, custom, and I don't know how else you can describe. You've heard those suggestions. Do they hold any water? Is that true? Does it hold water that?
A big no.
Right. Please explain, because this is coming from custom, traditions, I don't know what else.
Franklin, you have heard that a person dies and people accuse each other that, in our culture, there is no death that has got no human attachment. We always accuse each other. There are certain stories that a body or a coffin has been moving to point out to the person who bewitched that person. But these are beliefs that in our Christian nation, our Zambia that has been declared a Christian nation, we believe that God is responsible of death. God is responsible of life. So the spirits work for the common good of man, not to hurt. They work for the common good of man. So I don't believe the theories that this could have happened that way, there was a human hand here. I don't believe in that. It happened that when you are hurt, every death pains. Every death pains, especially to the relatives, those who are close to him. It hurts. And now, in particular, this one, it is hurting a lot of us, especially those who are custodians of our traditions in Eastern Province. Because this man came from Eastern Province. He carried our values. He carried our traditions. He believed in the traditions of the Easterners. But what is happening now is beyond what I can comprehend. It's beyond that. I can't understand what is going on.
Right. The process of negotiation, because you say, as a family, initially led by yourself, you wanted to honor the wish of Dr. Kaunda. That didn't happen, and the negotiations, as you know, as it were, eventually saw Dr. Kaunda's body being buried. You had a chance to review that decision or to go and petition that decision, and you say you did not. Was that because of having lost hope, or was that a collective?
No. When you say we lost the decision, you're talking about the court case.
Right.
The court case, basically what happened is that we didn't proceed with an ongoing issue, which the court explained that, look, as he said, this man, as much as the family has a right to possessing the body, it belongs to the family. We looked at a bigger picture. Zambia. This man created a country called Zambia. They looked at him as a father. One of his assistants was telling me, he says, you know, your father was harsh on you guys. What do you mean? He says, no. Some of us try to speak for you, and we would tell him that, look, sir, I think you're being unfair to your children on this or this or this matter. And his answer was, I have to be like that to them because I will be like that to all the others. And they said, no, but sir, you are the only father they've got. These others you're talking about, they've got other fathers at home. He says, that doesn't matter. As long as they're born president's children, this president, I will treat them in a manner that is equal to anybody else. And just to emphasize that, my young brother, Kambarage, rest his soul, was involved in an incident where the court found him guilty of what has happened, and they sentenced him to death. When my father left office, he left his son on death row. Okay? Now, that's the type of man he was. My brother was on death row when my father left office. He could easily have said, I'm pardoning my son before I go. He could have done that. He didn't. He left him on death row, and he left office. President Chiluba's government came in, and it was under their government that he was acquitted. But the type of man that he was like that. So we reflected on the type of person that he was. And we said, the people of Zambia will not really understand if we take our father and take him there. He himself, if we had the chance and to explain, Dad, we're doing this because of A, B, C, D, he would have understood. And he would have said, okay, fine, let's do it that way. To give you an example, again, that statue that is at Long Acres, the people who made that statue brought a miniature of that statue for me to go and show the old man that this is what they wanted to do. When I showed him, he said no. So I had to explain to him in different ways and how people look at it and this and that. Eventually he says, let me sleep over it. The next day he says, I've thought about that thing, I still don't like it. I don't want them to build a statue of me. I said, look, it's not for you, it's for the people of Zambia. Even after you're gone, that statue will remain. So after talking to him about it and different people talking to him about it, eventually he agreed. He said, all right, they can go ahead and make the statue. So he was that type of person. So we looked at it in that light, that what do the people think of us as Kaundas if we do that? It's a very selfish thing to do, I know. And for us, it would have been great to have our father buried, next to my mother as we wanted to. But we looked at a bigger picture. And this is what I'm pleading with my brothers and sisters and my Mlamu, Mrs. Esther Lungu, that please look at it at a bigger picture. Zambia is one Zambia, one nation. Bring him home. He was not president of PF only. He was president of Zambia, the whole Zambia. It doesn't augur well to have our president buried in a foreign country. It doesn't have to be like that. If there are other issues pending, well, we'll discuss those things. But please, keep the country united. This thing is dividing the country. Let's keep the country united.
Right. Earlier, you were alluding to how strange it is to you as a traditionalist that this is happening. Are you not putting into or factoring the fact that there's a lot of politics here, which perhaps maybe putting the traditional considerations you alluded to earlier on the side? A lot of politics is being courted in here. Is it not understandable from that political perspective?
I think some three weeks ago, Inkosi Mankosi Mbezeni gave a press conference in Chipata at the palace, which all the pressmen went to hear him. He clearly indicated that this matter is more political. Our young politicians have taken charge of the issue. The issues that are being discussed, that we are reading about, are more political than moral issues. So we would want to plead with the Lungu family, my sister-in-law. I am very, very close. I have been very close to the Lungu family for a long, long time. I think politicians have taken charge and they are driving this matter. Chiefs in Eastern Province, I could mention Chiefs Mnukwa, Chief Nsefu of Mambwe. They have called me that why are we quiet when your sister, we don't know what she's eating in South Africa, who is looking after her? We are sitting here, politicians have taken charge. So you must grow to start speaking for them. If need be, we want to raise money for you to travel to South Africa. Go and speak to your sister. This is not good for us in Eastern Province because politicians have taken charge. It is all politics. We need to find common ground where we can agree to disagree. When you go to church, the first things that you are taught is the prayer of God. Our Father who art in heaven, the biggest and very important prayer that you pray to God direct, says, forgive me my trespasses, as I forgive those who trespass against me. Powerful message, powerful instruction from God. We want, if there is anything that did not go well between the politicians, I think the family must dwell on that instruction from God. Forgive me my trespasses, as I forgive those who trespass against me. We need to do this in love. Love one another. This is what Kaunda said in all his life. He taught us to love.
If I can add on to what my brother's saying, President Lungu, each time he came to see the old man, he would kneel beside him. The old man would take his handkerchief, put it on his head, and say, love God, your creator, all your heart, all your mind, all your soul. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, the reason I've reminded that is that President Lungu, rest his soul, is the one who made the decision and asked the family to say, we want to put KK at Embassy Park. It was him. I tried to talk to this minister, this one, that one, to say, look, that's not what the old man wanted. But the president insisted that that's what he wanted to happen. Then it'll become a tradition that presidents would be put at Embassy Park. So we are pleading, we're not apportioning blame or anybody, that the same be done to our brother, former President Edgar Lungu, rest his soul, that he be put to rest as has become tradition in Zambia.
Right. There's an argument also going around that the late president indicated he had said that he did not want the incumbent, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to be at his funeral. Now, those who've said they don't think he said those words. They don't believe he could have said those words. What's your reaction to that?
Whether he did or not, President Lungu believed in God. God believes in forgiveness. We are not bitter with him for putting our father at Embassy Park. We're not bitter. We've let that go. And if he did say those things, I'm sure if he was here and somebody said, look, I don't think that's right, he would understand. So I don't think that that is something that should be binding in terms of saying the president shouldn't attend the funeral. He is the president of Zambia, like it or not.
Right. And it is a contentious point, is it not? It's a point of difference, at least one of the points of differences between government and the Lungu family as each were. So how do you react to that?
We have experienced, Franklin, you can tell me, amongst all the presidents that lost government, who amongst them was badly treated, ill-treated than all of them? Is Kenneth Kaunda. When Kenneth Kaunda lost government, we were in State House. When President Chiluba came, Kaunda hands over to President Chiluba. And then he decides to go out. Out there, he's asking us, where am I going? I have no home. Can you go back and ask the president to maybe give us shelter? We went back. President Chiluba discussed with, I think it was Chungu that time. Then they gave him ZCCM guest house along Midway. 3 days, 4 days, Kenneth Kaunda was followed, that he had stolen books, state books. They searched him the whole day. His children were arrested. Panji was picked up from here, taken to Nyamuseche in Chipata. Waza was detained. Wezi was detained. Kenneth Kaunda suffered more than any president who lost government. But when Chiluba died, Kenneth Kaunda was there, including his wife, Betty. Isn't it, Kawachi?
She was there, yeah. She even went to the wake. I thought doing Chimbuya with her there. You know, and they'll say, we're betting Gafwa. They were doing Chimbuya with her at President Chiluba's funeral. So that's why I'm saying that, excuse me, forgiveness is part of God's wish. We shouldn't hold to heart somebody that wrongs us. We should let it go and carry on.
Right. At this point on Sunday interview, we open the phone lines. Feel free to come in on 25 30 25, 25 30 25, and we'll accommodate your questions or indeed comments on this ongoing matter, where there's an impasse between former President Lungu's family and government, yet to agree on the way forward. The matter is in a South African court, and awaiting determination of what will come out of there after everything is said and done. Now, what sort of potential, you made reference to the potential it has of dividing the country, and maybe that's a thought that many may not have really put a lot to it, in terms of the potential to divide the country. Is that even possible? Is it a matter to worry about? Is it possible to divide the country to extents of concern, Mr. Zulu?
Indeed. Indeed, because when you say, I don't want the president to receive the body, we don't want state funeral, where then do you put the government? I have worked for government myself all my life. I have never worked anywhere else apart from being a civil servant. The president in this matter has provided guidance, just guidance. He has never mentioned to anybody that I want, when the body comes, I want to see it. If the family wants that he should not view the body, I think some of these things, the family must be magnanimous to at least come out of the press. Every time we hear the press, they have given this press statement, this statement. This is painful to both. They should find a way between government and them, even the matter in court. If I had my way, I would have preferred that they discuss outside government and family.
Right.
No politicians.
Right. Let me now just indicate we've got callers, and we have Father Frank Walia from the UPND. Father Walia, please come in.
Thank you very much. I am very much touched listening to my two elder brothers there talking about this matter. I'm very, very much touched. I feel like crying, especially on the point they made that Dr. Kaunda actually went to President Chiluba's funeral and all those things they said. That's very, very touching for me, very, very touching. It reminds me, and of course what Dr. Kaunda went through, they were relatively young at that time, but I remember very well what he went through. The bottom line is this: we are Christians. We are a Christian nation. We have 18th October, a day of prayer, fasting, forgiveness, and reconciliation, which was proclaimed by President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. So my prayer is that the family will preserve his legacy along those lines by saying the same thing that my brother there, Oweche, is saying, that if Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu were alive and people talked to him, priests, bishops, and so on, I am also convinced, knowing him personally and having related with him so closely, that he would also say, Father, he would also think along the same lines.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are very much inspired, and this is a very, very good program.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
Your reaction, perhaps. I don't know whether you want to respond to that.
Well, he's simply emphasizing in different words what we've been talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. On part of government, there's been reaction as well by the fact that government took the Lungu family to court. What is your reaction?
Well, I think in normal circumstances, the government would not have gone to court. They have been forced to go to court so that they can do something right. The government has got responsibilities to the majority, to the people of Zambia. All of us. The Zambians across this country wants to send President Edgar Chagwa Lungu with the dignity that he deserved. They want to see him lying here because this is where he laid. All of these people that voted for him because they loved him, they believed in him. So they feel the country is divided in those who want him to lie here and those few politicians who want him to lie elsewhere and bring him when they get government. What about if they don't get government?
Right. Let's bring in Jack Chirufya from Kitwe. Jack, welcome to Sunday Interview. Please go ahead. We've lost Jack. But staying on to the same matter, the decision to take the family to court is in public interest.
Yes.
Because there's a public interest component which has been cited.
Yes.
Shouldn't that have been done earlier, seeing that these negotiations were not really going as government had wished? Shouldn't that decision have been made earlier than on the day the burial was supposed to take place?
I think the belief was that they would resolve this outside courts, that the family and the government would sit and eventually come to an amicable agreement. That is why I think it was not taken to court earlier. It's like a past friend of mine, the way he put it was that, you know, he views it as if there's an adultery case. In most cases, you blame the woman. But you forget that for her to do that, there had to be somebody else with her. There are two people involved in that. So he explained, he says, a portion of blame must be on both. You can't choose one and say you're the adulterer and that one is innocent. No, it's both of them. So both must be taken to task and both must be questioned. In this case, we have a situation where two different sides are disagreeing about something. It's not impossible to come together and find a solution. It's not impossible. Okay? And we did it. I was very angry. I can tell you the truth. I was very angry when the decision was made about burying the old man at Embassy Park. And President Lungu is the one who spearheaded that. Okay, but here I am today pleading with the family to say, no, bring him back. That's gone. It's gone. We're forgiven about all that happened. Two wrongs don't make a right. Okay?
Right. We've got Pastor, sorry, I'll come back to you so very shortly. We have a caller, Pastor Kelvin Simugala. Please go ahead. Where are you calling from, sir?
Okay, thank you. I'm calling you from Nakonde. I first want to appreciate these interviews and thank you so much to hear from the Induna and Kaweche. Just like what Father Bwadia said, actually for me thoughts are coming out of my eyes because this is just beyond what must happen for this nation. And I would want to appreciate ZNBC to bring people that have once experienced this. I believe the world and the country at large, we are learning something. Something of my heart really is that the grieved family, it's very important to understand the pain they are going through, but also it is very important to see how they can heal. It is all known that they are actually grieved, but everything concerning this funeral should not be acted upon pain. And so I feel, again, what the Induna said, biblically, this is what I understand, that the family should be able to dip into the Word of God and understand that forgiveness is something that is very, very important, which brings about healing from their side as well. At the same time, from the government point of view, there could be some nitty-gritty things. We also believe that there could be a way that the government can also be able to go hard and help the family understand. But ultimately, our heart desire is to see that we honor the former president in the manner befitting. Everyone is always saying that he must be buried in our country, yes, and specifically at our embassy park. But then these nitty-gritty things, I would simply say what is most cardinal is for the family and the government to be able to forgive each other in certain areas that we might not know, and be able to do something that may make our president rest in peace. It is something I once commented on one of these Facebook. You know, a lot is passing there, and actually we are somehow divided. Some things are not helping us, other things are really helping us. But what is very key is just this which has been mentioned. We wish the Lungu's family could close eyes to politics issues, because that is what mostly we are getting.
Right, thank you.
Down their heart.
Thank
yes,
you.
Yes.
Thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. More comments.
Yeah, he's right.
Right.
The politicians really should take a rear end of this thing. Talking from experience with us, there were no politicians involved when we were talking to government and the family. There was no buffer between us in terms of politicians wanting to say this or encouraging the family to say this or that. Nothing like that. It was just the family and the state. That's it.
Right.
And in that state, it was President Lungu, rest in peace. He was the president at the time. And he accommodated what we wanted. When we said we want this and this and this, he accommodated us. When they wanted something, we accommodated them. Until eventually, you saw what you saw. You had a state funeral that went the way it did.
Right. Ambassador, you had wanted to...
Yes, I think that I should ask Zambians, all of us, to search in our hearts of hearts. What are we doing to ourselves? We are capable of doing better than this. Like my brother says, let politicians get out of this. Let the state and the family resolve this problem. It will be easy for us that way. If we mix the two, we will still be having these problems, and we may seem not to have a solution. So we should pray for them. The nation must be on their knees to pray for President Hakainde and Esther Lungu in South Africa, that God, the love of God, the wisdom of God should reach them and resolve this thing in the best interest of all of us.
Right. We have another caller from Livingston. Is it Likando? Please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, Franklin.
Good evening to you.
And good evening, the two colleagues.
Good
Good evening, sir.
Thank you, and good evening, viewers. Let me just go straight to the point. This funeral, it's unfortunate that politicians have created a jamming sequence in whatever is happening. I think the best people who can advise the Lungu family are people like you, especially two of you, who had a similar situation should come in, and whoever, especially like crazy people. Because the issues of politicians, you talk politicians from A, from B, you know what I'm trying to say. They are all trying to challenge each other and like fooling each other. So I think the best thing to do, is to find people like yourself, two of you, and others, to go and join them in South Africa and discuss this issue. You know, you can imagine that board was even taking to church, which simply means it is within the Christianity, whereby I like what you said about the Lord's Prayer. It's talking about forgiving. And that is an acknowledging with God that we should move in that direction. Then you're taking the body to church. Then again, you're going opposite way by not doing like forgiving each other. I think that way is not good. But I understand politicians somehow, they're the one who are spoiling the issues of this burial.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Otherwise, the best is let them just bring the body here in Zambia, and the needful is done accordingly. Thank you very much. I'm very humbled to accord this.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are suggestions, and please, indicate what you think. Would it be, and I know that it also depends on the family in South Africa. Would it be possible that perhaps things could be easier if President Hichilema traveled to South Africa?
I think it would be, to be very honest with you. I think it would be easier rather than politicians that have been trying to play buffer between the president and the family. But we don't know what the president's timetable is. It's not so easy for him to go into another country as president. When there's a president there, there's so many things that really need to be done to receive him as president. And that is why he sends these envoys. Because I know if it was up to him personally, as a person, as an individual, he would have gone there. I saw it when our father died. Before he became president, he was with us. Okay? And he did contribute to doing things that the family needed to do without even discussing with the state. We decided we need this, we need this. He would come to our aid. To our aid. So I know as an individual, he probably would. But he's the head of state. He just can't walk into another country and say, I've come to do ABCD. It doesn't matter what's happening there. He has to abide by the protocols that guide him as the head of state.
Right.
And you remember that President Hakainde, even before this happened, before he knew this would happen, he pronounced that wherever a Zambian is going to be in trouble, wherever in this wide world, we will bring him home. Those ones he said, it's on record. Wherever a Zambian is in trouble, anywhere in this world, we will bring him home. So he is doing what he promised the country. People want the Zambian and the former president home. So I think he's on the right course. We all need the president to go to come home so that we can see him. The pain that my sister is going through, I feel it myself because she's my sister. I feel the pain. If anybody tomorrow says, George Zulu, here is a ticket to go to South Africa to go and talk to your sister, I would willingly be flying there because I want to lighten her burden. She needs somebody to lighten the burden. She cannot be mourning every day while politicians are celebrating that they have put somebody in a corner. I would be willing, that, like the previous caller says, Kawecha and I are prepared, are ready. If anybody said, go and meet your sister, meet your children, because Tassila, Dalisho, and others are our children. The father was very close to me. So I would feel that the president is on the right course, but we must take politics out of this. We are ready.
Right. Let's bring in another caller from within Lusaka. This is David. David, welcome to Sunday Interview. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Kawecha.
Good evening.
Good evening, Paramount, yes. You know, it is quite touching when we consider and look intently in what surrounds the funeral of our gallant man. It is something that is bringing grief. You can imagine how the family of the late president are feeling this time. The widow herself, Mama Esther Lungu, it is so touching to imagine that the whole country, Zambia, is plunged into this situation, which we did not expect, which is just caused by politicians because of their level of hatred against one person. The whole thing has been overtaken by politicians who have always said from onset that the deceased left the word that the president, the current president, should not even draw near. Who can say so? Anyway, I can believe it, but 100%, I can't believe that this word came from the president himself, the former head of state, Mr. Lungu. This is a created story because someone hates the current president, so they enticed the family of Mr. Lungu that they punish one individual who is the current president.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
It is quite sad that we are in this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You are the first to seek for action or to have a request. And at least you mentioned that this was the wish of Dr. Kaunda, but you were very prominent in pushing that he is not buried at Embassy Park. Do you feel you inspired this sometimes?
Yeah, because to some extent...
Do you feel responsible for this?
Well, not responsible, but my name is being mentioned left, right, and center in this whole saga. And I suppose that is why yourselves needed to hear from me, the horse's mouth, what exactly happened at the time that we took this action. It was not intended to divide the country. That was not my intention. If that was the case, I wouldn't have stopped. Even after they put him in the ground, I would have continued making noise and saying all sorts of things. But I let it go. Once the decision that said, look, this man belonged to all of us, I let it go. I said, fine. I've done my part. Okay?
Do you
I've
then,
done my part.
do you regret not having attended?
No, the body's still there.
Well, but you didn't attend.
It depends, but you don't know what we agreed with the state. That's what I'm saying, that we reached a compromise.
Optics are important, aren't they? You did not attend.
I did not attend at that time. That's what I'm saying. Only 6 of us, families, have felt what the Lungus are feeling now. At that time, I can tell you, I was very angry because my father's wishes were not being listened to or done. I'm the one who spent a lot of time with him. I'm the one who saw him every time he said the prayer, I was sitting next to him. Okay? So when this happened and they insisted on putting him there, of course it hurt me.
But when you retrospect?
No, because you see, for me to go there at that time would have been to endorse exactly what he said he didn't want. At least, you know, if he's looking from above, from heaven, from above, he would say, okay, at least my son tried not to put me here, which is what I was trying to do. I did my best. So if anybody asks me, your father told you didn't want to go there, did you do anything about it? I'll say, yes, I did, I tried. I failed, but I tried.
Right. Let's bring in Duncan Mulima. from calling from Saudi Arabia in Riyadh. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Yes, please. Thank you so very much. I'm Ambassador Duncan Mulima from Riyadh here. Our elders, Ambassador Zulu, good evening.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Our elder there, good evening again, and good evening to the listeners and the viewers of that program. Thank you so very much for prompting such an important program, and the important program which has brought the right minds to the platform. Ambassador Zulu, from the beginning of this program and the issues that you have brought out, I think these are very important issues that needed to go to the ears of the family for our former sixth president, President Edgar Lungu. Again, I can hear you say you are ready to be put on the flight and go and renegotiate with the family to ensure that they do the needful. Politicians who are surrounding this issue have made it difficult for our incumbent head of state, President Hakainde Hichilema, which should not be the case. People should be realistic. These politicians must be realistic. First of all, they have misguided the family from onset of this program, for this funeral. They are hopping on and off on the flights into South Africa to continue misguiding the family. The fact that I know the former First Lady, Madam Esther Lungu, I really don't think whatever is going on is of her opinion. Maybe we need the right minds like your minds right now, Ambassador, to take this opportunity and guide the family accordingly. We can all vividly remember from the beginning of this funeral, things did not go right. The incumbent president was informed very late, and blames were flying everywhere, and these politicians around this issue are pulling their political mileage. Please, we are a country which has observed peace, and we are a country that believes in dialogue. Let them make it easy for the incumbent president to rule. There can only be one president at a time. They have made it very difficult for President Hakainde Hichilema to rule the country. He has showed the guidance. Yes, he is not an angel, but he brings to the table what is good for the country up to now. Let's assist him.
Right.
Hello?
Right.
Hello?
Ambassador.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ambassador. In 30 seconds, if you can wrap up, Ambassador, we will have to release you.
Yeah, thank you so very much. So basically what I'm saying is, please, if we can have elders like the platform is witnessing now, let them step up to the podium. And please, if also the Lungu family can be kind enough, as much as we know of the affiliation of political affiliation, if they can give an opportunity to elders to settle the matter, and then we go back to resolving other issues when we are done with the funeral.
Thank you.
It is not safe every day. Us in the diaspora, they're asking us, when are you burying, when are you burying? It's a difficult answer to give, but let them help us.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Thank you so much. Thank you. All the way from Riyadh there. We appreciate the Ambassador. Unless you want to make a comment, but I think it's simply...
No, I agree 100% that the Ambassador is saying that the politicians should stay out of this. They can go back to their politics once we're done with the ceremonial and rightful and dignified send-off of our former president. Then they can go back to talk about load shedding and everything else that comes with holding that office that our brother holds right now. But for now, as Zambians, we should come together. If somebody has done wrong, forgive them. Even when you go to somebody's burial, the priest always says, if this person that were put into rest offended you, forgive them. It's always said. That's why I'm saying that whatever's been going on in the background with, he said this, he said this, he didn't say this, he didn't say this, it's gone. Forgive the man, let him come home.
Right. Government and family loggerheads. What kind of arbiter? Who should it be? Because there are two strong points, left and right, government and the family.
Well, it has to be somebody that's agreed by both sides. I can give you the example. In Zimbabwe, when the soldiers were on the streets there against President Mugabe, some of the ministers at the time would come to my father and say, no, we've got the plane ready for you, go to Zimbabwe. My father said, no, Robert hasn't asked for me. How do I just go there and say I've come to... If Robert asks for me, and the other fellows on the other side also say they don't mind me being there, I will go. Okay? 3 days later, that happened. We went. I went with him. President Lungu, my father, President Rupia Banda, we went to Harare. And you know what happened a few days later? The President Mugabe decided to leave things as, to others.
Right.
So it has to be an agreement between both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
Another caller on Sunday interview. Good evening. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Gordon Tapisha, evening, sir.
Go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to add on to the other callers which came through. That was Pastor Clive and the other one. I think these people who are taking politics with funeral, I think it is high time they take the politics away from the funeral. Let us focus on burying our late president, and then their politics can come later. Because if we put the funeral and the politics together, meaning we are moving away from our Zambian culture, we are moving away from our Zambian tradition. I'm happy that I can see Mr. Kaweche there and the Induna there. We need people like you who can go at, who can come on board at least trying to help the family, because the family is in grievance again. They are politicians who they are just going there for fame and bringing in confusion. So we just need people like Mr. Kaweche and the Induna there.
Thank you so much.
That's my contribution, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ambassador, as we close in this, we have a bit of time, but how much have you put yourself in the shoes of the Lungu family to look at things from their perspective? How much have you spoken into or put yourself in the Lungu family, what has been expressed, the hurt, and what is making probably them, yes, there's the politics we've talked about, what about their responsibility, their wishes, their desires, and how they're feeling? How much have you put yourself in their shoes?
I share their pain a great deal. Their pain is my pain. Their pain, we have discussed it with Nkosi Amakosi. He also feels the pain of Esther Lungu. And you see, late President Lungu was very close to late President Sata. Most of these that are talking now in the PF were not there with Michael Sata. Michael Sata used to say, I think, let me sing a song that Michael Sata left to us who were his close friends. he had founded a choir in the Catholic Church. Because now I'm surprised that instead of bishops helping us to heal, they are in the forefront of helping us to add more pain to the family, to the grieving family.
What do you mean, so that you're not being misunderstood? What do you mean there?
We were supposed to have the church talking to the politicians, not to do certain things in this situation. We have seen that certain church leaders are not helping to solve the situation. They are adding fire. They are adding problems. They are adding pain, either to President Hakainde or to the family. So, Sata said, tutemwane vane vonse, tutemwane mwe vachivusa wandi, tukonke fyevo fyandi.
What does the song say, very quickly?
It says, you boosters, you leaders, let's love one another. Follow my leadership. Nainenkaya musenda, ukaya mona tata, mubumi wape.
Right, we have a caller joining Sunday interview. Good evening, thank you for joining us.
Good evening. How are you?
Very well, how are you? Who's calling us and where are you from?
This is Victor Kanjenj from Nakonde.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, over this impasse that we have in the country, it's so sad that this thing has gone on. These politicians, I think the best thing is to mention them so that they are ashamed. In fact, they are decampaigning themselves. We know them, we have seen them going to South Africa to bring this confusion. I think I also endorse that the panel which is there should take in charge. Then this should be sorted out. Otherwise, it's not the Lung family. It's those people we have been seeing going to South Africa. Those are the people who are causing this problem. I rest my case.
Well, thank you for coming through. What do you think, or how else can the president handle this matter?
Well, you've heard the comments from the people. Send people that, first of all, the Zambian people say, yes, we think those people can help. Second, the family can say, yes, we think these people can help. Okay? That is how you're going to solve this thing. Let us not sow hate. This is one Zambia, one nation. There's no hate or room for hate in this thing. Our fathers built this country, ruled it in peace. Our former president has passed away. We're going to use this as a situation to start dividing the country? We can't allow that. Okay. The government and the family must come together and find a solution. We've been through it. Nobody can tell me you don't know what you're talking about. I do. We've been through it. Before we came here, I phoned my young brother Mulenga Sata. I said, we talked about this thing, and he gave me his because I know he's been through it. So those who are talking now, the politicians who are talking from afar or from outside the circles of the family, should just shut up. Let the family talk. Let the government respond and let the government talk. That's how it works. There's no other way.
Right. What then is the responsibility of society, of church, and whoever else who must contribute to upholding unity in this country be doing before allowing certain things to escalate to certain levels?
First of all, it is to President Hakainde Hichilema. He must be encouraged to do the things he's doing. Stop hearing from his competitors to discourage him to follow this way. He is mandated by the people of Zambia to run their affairs. And the people of Zambia have gone everywhere wanting the body to come to be buried here in Zambia. So let him stay the course. Let him not hear from competitors because they just want to derail him. These are politics. He must leave the politics, concentrate on what he wants to achieve. The achievement is to bring the body of our president here in Zambia.
Right.
Secondly, before I finish,
right,
the church must play their role. Must play their role. These people are hurting. The family is hurting. They have got colleagues in South Africa, in the church. They went to church there to pray. Let them communicate with their church elders, church relatives, church friends, so that we pray for the Lungu family. They need a point where they break from this impasse.
Right. Thank you so much. We have Kasongo.
Yes, yes.
From Lusaka. Please go ahead, Kasongo.
Yes, yes. Yeah. We appreciate the program that we have. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes, 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 sir. So what I'm saying is that we appreciate the program that we have, we are following, and we appreciate our elders who are there to guide and try to find a solution so that at least we get out of this situation. But I think my personal opinion, we should.
I'm sorry. On your personal opinion, your line just.
So what I'm saying, my personal opinion is that we should always try to engage at the right time to avoid issues getting out of hand, and then our elders are learning to come and help sort out this issue. Like we have reached this level where now things are in court and all that. We have these elders to guide us. They should see before
we'll have to let you, but I think your point is taken. Thank you for coming through. We'll have to let you go. And I think that's was my interest earlier as well. Watch the certain things that can be intercepted, as it were. Does society sit back too much, allowing fire to become, the flame to be bigger than it should? Is this thing too reactive? Should society be more active when they see things going out of hand? In politics, are politicians having too much room on the left and on the right to say things and to do things that potentially have an effect of dividing this country?
Yes, the politicians have taken an upper hand, and the community has become voyeurs, just watching. They just watch politicians do their job. But I think we must come to a point where we say, this is not for you. This is not for politicians. These are traditional issues. Burials, marriages, birth of children, they are all ceremonies that we were doing even before we were born ourselves. So these are a preserve of societies. Every society, when a child is born, there is a ceremony. When a child is sick at the hospital, the society, the community converges from Tendele, from everywhere to go and see a sick person in hospital. When a person finally dies, you have seen between the Ngonis and the Bembas, they forget politics, they do their cousinship. They play, they paint each other white powder and stuff. Then another tribe takes responsibilities. If it is a Ngoni who has died, the Bembas, it is their funeral. they must take the responsibility of arranging and burial of that person. They relieve the burden on the bereaved family. If a Bemba dies, it is also the same. The Ngones take charge of that funeral.
Right. Just to add on to what you're saying.
We have to go. I'll take those as your concluding remarks. In wrapping up.
Just it's the ruling that I went to court should not be viewed as something that had been ruled as a failure. All they did is that they were overtaken by events. The old man had already been buried, which is what I had been fighting to stop. They said, don't bury him, do everything else, but give us the body to take him where he wanted to be. But they buried him. That's when I got the ruling. But what has happened now is that a tradition has taken over, because there is no law which says that presidents or former president must be buried at Embassy Park. There is no law like that. Even in the Constitution, it's not there. But a tradition has been set. A tradition, in most cases, becomes law.
Right.
So that is what has happened here. So if, for the last time, we're pleading to our fellow former First Family in South Africa, where they are, that let bygones be bygones. When somebody dies, we put aside a lot of these things that we might be holding to heart. I mean, if it was like that, I wouldn't be asking for Edgar's body to come home.
Right.
Look, we were given cards to invite us to our father's funeral. Where have you seen? It's like losing your father twice. We see him die, and then you get a card inviting you to your own father's funeral. So those are things which we don't hold to heart. We let them go.
Right.
Okay.
I want to thank you both for coming. We have to go, sir.
Before you finish, I think we must also take this opportunity to thank the Zambian people for maintaining the peace, for not being swayed to be divided. Let it be that way. All Zambians, please keep the peace that was bestowed on us.
Right.
Not by politicians, by God Almighty.
Thank you so much. And that's it on Sunday Interview. I want to thank you for coming. You've been appreciated by callers and viewers, and hopefully that does signal something as far as the Zambian people's wish are concerned. We appreciate you once again. And Sunday Interview closing with my guests, Kaweche Kaunda, late President Kenneth Kaunda's son, and Ambassador George Zulu, whose paramount chief in Pezen is Induna. And Sunday Interview ends here. We'll see you next time.